Okay, how's it going? I'm just going to record this video. It's been something that's been on my mind for a few days, and I wanted to share it with you because hopefully it can inspire other people in the same situation to maybe open up, and in doing so we'll create a healthier, more loving environment for everyone on this planet. So I want to talk to you today about male masculinity. It's something that I've probably had an issue with all my life, I would say, because I wouldn't necessarily say I'm your stereotypical man. I think most men are viewed as to be muscly, loud, obnoxious, a womanizer, all those kind of things. And if you see, how men are portrayed on TV, in magazines, there's always the guy with the ripped six-pack, the big bulging biceps. In TV, film, the guy is always getting the girl. James Bond, for example, is a prime example of what a lot of men may aspire to. And I feel this is creating a lot of social pressure on men in general, and I feel that's what's causing a lot of probably issues when it comes to men not finding their way in life. If you look at the increase in violence with gun crime in America and maybe knife crime here in the UK, it's all gang related, men predominantly. I can't really think of any crimes that have been committed recently that have involved a woman stabbing someone or a woman shooting someone. And for me, it kind of highlights the point that these men are searching for something, and they're, if they're involved in a gang, or maybe if they go into a shooting, they're probably a lot of psychological problems that they may be experiencing because they're trying to find status. They're trying to become a man, and if they do a certain crime within a gang, they will be rewarded because they'll be, praised for their actions, and that maybe think that will give them a feeling of being worthy and a feeling of being a man, and that's not the case. And I think it's very important that we all become more open as a man, and I feel that is something that I want to share with you today. I feel that all my life I've never really I probably had a sexual desire, as all men did in their teens and early 20s, but I would completely be honest with you that my sexual desire is not as high as it maybe used to be, and it sometimes used to worry me. I felt that I might have had low testosterone levels, but had those tested and they're normal. And I think it's just something, as we go through life, our lives change, but sometimes when you're surrounded by men and certain men in your environment or in the media, that you should be out, sleeping with hundreds of women to get status. And it's, a lot of guys are boisterous, down the pub, boasting about this conquest and that conquest. And it puts a lot of social pressure on a lot of men to feel that if I'm not doing that, is there something wrong with me? And that's probably that's been something that's questioned me. I've questioned that a couple of times. But the fact is, I had a nice honest conversation with my friend the other day, and we kind of really just opened up about these things. And I really crave connection with a woman rather than sexual desire. Sex obviously is an important element, no question about that. But for me, having a connection with someone is far more important than just sleeping with someone. I'm, being single at the moment after being in a long-term relationship. Just sleeping with anybody willy-nilly is not something that I truly desire. I'd rather go out and have a nice drink and a connection with someone. If things evolve that way, then they should evolve in a way where there's connection and you feel a lot more worthy for it, than rather than just meaningless sex. Because I think throughout my life, I probably did that a lot when I was younger, but never really got any satisfaction with it. You just did it because you felt you had to do it when you were young, and you could boast about it, about your night's conquest down the pub the next day with your friends. But in truth, you still felt very empty after what happened. and then you go about your day. It's just another masking agent. Just as going to the gym, getting big and getting ripped, you know, so many guys are put under pressure that if they're not big and bulky, they're not considered a man, or the guy with the big biceps is going to always get the girl or be more attractive to the opposite sex because of his muscles, when in truth, you know, it comes down to personality, because you know, you can be attracted to anybody, but if you don't really connect with them on a deeper level, then attraction will only get you, you know, 10% of the way. The rest of it's going to be connection, and whether you got something, you know, interesting about you, and your personality and what you do inspire, and what you know, focus on in life, you know, in terms of friendships, family, and what you're passionate about within your job, etc. You know, all these factors can, you know, we can list off those factors, and there's hundreds of factors that will people will consider when it comes to connection, rather than just a physical attribute. And I think it's very important that men, if you're listening to this and you find that this is something that you do struggle with, I just want to kind of open up and be honest, raw and honest, because, you know, men don't have to be big and bulky to be considered attractive. Also, when it comes to being fit as well, like someone who's big and muscly doesn't necessarily portray that they're going to be the fittest person. You know, I do a lot of triathlon. I feel I'm very active, but I'm not big and muscly, and there's always kind of a pressure that, you know, if you don't look that way, you're not going to be viewed as fit and healthy because you've not got the muscles to show off. But I probably could outrun most people in the gym. So, you know, what do you define as healthy yourself? And I think it's important to try and understand what you want, rather than what the magazines, what people in the gym kind of portray that you should be because you're a man. Just as women experience the same insecurities, I think the problem is that us men are very, very closed, and we don't talk about our insecurities. And I want to talk to you about my insecurities, because I feel by opening up to you, that can hopefully help you be more open about your own insecurities of being a man, and hopefully that can help more men be open and talk about their feelings with one another, with their mates, or even with a total stranger. You know, I'm going to be completely honest. I've had therapy. I spoke to someone about struggles with a past relationship. I went to the Samaritans. Wasn't suicidal, but it was nice to just talk about it and be open and honest about your feelings. And I've always been a man that's kind of been quite, you know, emotional. You know, if you speak to my friends, I'm always crying at weddings, and I cry at most films. I love a chick flick. You know, I'm not your typical man. I would say I'm a metrosexual. I'm proud of it. I moisturise, enjoy a nice massage, a facial, and I think it's important to embrace that and not feel that but just because you do these things, you're not considered a man. And we live in the 21st century now, where a man can be a man for what he believes and what he stands for, rather than a man, you know, the old-fashioned man where women don't, you know, matter. There's that, you know, men are more important than women and all this rubbish. You know, we live in equal times where we should share the love and respect for, you know, everybody on this planet, regardless of sex, regardless of sexual orientation, regardless of colour. And I think the more open we can be, honest we can be to everybody, the less violence and less negativity is going to be in the world, because all this that's creating negativity at the moment is because men are afraid to open up about their emotions. They're hiding behind things, hiding behind status, hiding behind aggression, hiding behind humour, hiding behind sexual conquest, hiding behind a lot of things, that until they uncover that mask, as I mentioned before, the mask of masculinity, then we're going to struggle to improve the lives of others and reduce the violence and the issues we're experiencing at this moment in time. So hopefully this video has been helpful for you. Like I said, I've been open and honest about my insecurities, and hopefully that can be helpful for you to open up about your insecurities. And this video is really just something I wanted to share with you, because it's been on my mind, about, you know, insecurity about sexual orientation or these kind of things. You know, don't have to be considered in less of a man because you might not have sexual desires, or, you know, sleeping with 100 women, as all these things on TV portray. and you're not less of a man if you haven't got bulging biceps, and just be you. You don't have to feel the pressure of going to the gym to be big and muscly, because you can still be fit in your own way. Exercise is definitely very important, but find what's passionate and what you enjoy, as I do with triathlon and running. That's something I love and get more of a kick out than worrying about how good I look in the mirror, having big biceps and muscle and pecs, all this stuff. So if that's something that you're experiencing, you do struggle with, then don't be afraid to reach out. Happy to open up, talk, leave a comment on this video if you found it useful, and please share with everybody that you find that you feel would be a benefit to, male or female. I'm just really hoping that this video can open up a dialogue between men predominantly, or even partners, female partners talking to their men a bit more, and getting them to open up rather than being so closed off. Because I think until we do open up more, we aren't going to get very far. So it's my passion, and hopefully my openness can hopefully help you to be more open. And like I said, feel free to comment. I'm happy to reply to any comments if you found this video useful. And again, please share with as many people as you like if you do find this useful, and hopefully all together we can be more open, honest, and spread more love and peace around the world.